Hey, Rayleigh, and anybody else watching, and welcome once again to another message from your Father. We are at 28 and 29 of Numbers today. So if you hear me intermittently laughing, it's because you are standing at the top of the stairs right now and making noises. So it's pretty great. Zelophehad's daughters is where we left off. If you remember, we looked at their plea or their discussion to Moses saying, hey, we are actually entitled. We have no brothers, but we are entitled to our family's land. Moses brought that before God, and then they were entitled to that land. So they got that. We looked at the second census taken for Israel, and then also Joshua succeeding Moses as leader. So that was in, 26 and 27, I believe. Today, we are taking a second look at the offerings and feasts. Now, this is before this next generation of Israelites actually goes into the promised land. So it's almost serving as a reminder for the people, hey, here is how you are to celebrate the Lord your God. What are we going to be looking at? The offerings are the daily offerings, the monthly offerings, and the Sabbath offerings. For the feasts, it's the Feast of Weeks, Feast of Trumpets, and Feast of Tabernacles. And then we'll take a really brief look, once again, at the Passover, and then also the Day of Atonement as well. So all of those discussions, or all of that content is in 28 and 29 of Numbers. So, starting with 28. The Lord said to Moses, "Give this command to the Israelites and say to them, see that you present to me at the appointed time the food for my offerings made by fire, as an aroma pleasing to me. Say to them, this is the offering made by fire that you are to present to the Lord. 2 lambs a year old without defect, as a regular burnt offering each day. Prepare 1 lamb in the morning and the other at twilight, together with a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of oil from pressed olives. This is the regular burnt offering instituted at Mount Sinai as a pleasing aroma, an offering made to the Lord by fire. The accompanying drink offering is to be 1/4 of a hin of fermented drink with each lamb. Pour out the drink offering to the Lord at the sanctuary. Prepare the second lamb at twilight, along with the same kind of grain offering. This is an offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. On the Sabbath day, make an offering of 2 lambs a year old without defect, together with its drink offering, and a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. This is the burnt offering for every Sabbath, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. On the first of every month, present to the Lord a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With each bull there is to be a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With the ram, a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. And with each lamb, a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. This is for a burnt offering, a pleasing aroma, an offering made to the Lord by fire. With each bull there is to be a drink offering of 1/2 a hin of wine. With the ram, 1/3 of a hin, and with each lamb, 1/4 of a hin. This is the monthly burnt offering, to be made at each new moon during the year, besides the regular burnt offering with its drink offering. 1 male goat is to be presented to the Lord as a sin offering. On the Passover of the first month, the Lord's Passover is to be held. On the 15th day of the month, there is to be a festival. For 7 days, eat bread made without yeast. On the first day, hold a sacred assembly, and do no regular work. Present to the Lord an offering made by fire, a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With each bull, prepare a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With the ram, 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. Prepare these in addition with the regular morning burnt offering. In this way, prepare the food for the offering made by fire every day for 7 days as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. It is to be prepared in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. On the 7th day, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. On the day of the first fruits, when you present to the Lord an offering of new grain during the Feast of Weeks, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Present a burnt offering of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs, a year old, as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. With each bull there is to be a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With the ram 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs 1/10. Include 1 male goat to make atonement for you. Prepare these together with their drink offerings, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. Be sure the animals are without defect. Chapter 29. On the first day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. It is a day for you to sound the trumpets. As an aroma pleasing to the Lord, prepare a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, prepare a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With the ram, 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. These are in addition to the monthly and daily burnt offerings, with their grain offerings and drink offerings as specified. They are offerings made to the Lord by fire, a pleasing aroma. On the 10th day of this 7th month, hold a sacred assembly. You must deny yourselves and do no work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a burnt offering of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, prepare a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With the ram, 2/10, and with each of the 7 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. On the 15th day of the 7th month, hold a sacred assembly and do no regular work. Celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. Present an offering made by fire as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. A burnt offering of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each of the 13 bulls, prepare a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil. With each of the 2 rams, 2/10, and with each of the 14 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 2nd day, prepare 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as the sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and the drink offerings. On the 3rd day, prepare 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 4th day, prepare 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 5th day, prepare 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 6th day, prepare 8 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 7th day, prepare 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, prepare their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 8th day, hold an assembly and do no regular work. Present an offering made by fire as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, a burnt offering of 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bull, the ram, and the lambs, prepare the grain offering and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. In addition to what you vow and your free will offerings, prepare these for the Lord at your appointed feasts: your burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, and fellowship offerings. Moses told the Israelites all that the Lord commanded him. So every time I go through my Bible in the year, I always remember this chapter, just because it's so seemingly repetitive, and it's so easy for me to treat it flippantly. I mean, I almost read that chapter like I would the 12 days of Christmas, just going through it and changing things a little bit for each day. But it's important to recognize that all of these offerings have very, very real purposes, and there's a very real ramifications and direction why people are given all these offerings, and to treat that with respect and recognize why God had his people making these offerings. And a lot of these are the thankful offerings too, that aren't a sin offering, but it's a offering of thanksgiving. And so that gets me thinking about my own prayer life and how am I approaching prayer. So my prayer for you today, really, is that you remember that prayer is a sacred conversation with God, and that doesn't mean that it needs to be huge holy words. I mean, Jesus even talked about that later on with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, these people that propped themselves up religiously and gave these big flowery speeches to God in front of people. That's not what it is. It's a sacred communication between you and God, but one that should be done very regularly, but not without intent and not flippantly. I mean, there's a price that was paid so that we could approach God and speak with him. And that was only through Jesus' death that we're able to do that. So don't let your prayers become monotonous. Again, I guess that's my prayer for you, is that you recognize and don't let those prayers become monotonous, because they are so, so important. Anyway, anyone else know that I appreciate you so much. Rayleigh, love you tons. Hopefully you are getting close to done with all these teeth coming in. I don't know if I can take much more. I can't imagine how much pain you're in, but there's a lot of fussiness. Anyway, know that I love you so much, and I will continue to pray for you. For everyone else, and for you, Rayleigh, I will plan on seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.